Ms. Davidson, what is the #1 issue facing the city of Bessemer, and how would you address it?
I think the #1 issue here in the city of Bessemer is our revenue. Without any revenue, we cannot do anything. There would not be a police department if there's no revenue for the police department to work with. There cannot be a city hall if there's no revenue. So we must have some business bringing in these revenues. We must have someone out there marketing it, being able to bring in business here, new business here, and then able to keep the business that we have here, wanting them to stay here and live here in the city of Bessemer. We have a lot of business here that have closed. You go downtown Bessemer, you see downtown Bessemer is deserted. You only have a few businesses there. It used to be a time where the mall, the downtown Bessemer all was up running all day long. And that's something we need to bring back, and we need to reach out. Next, I think we need communication. If there's no communication with anyone, we cannot do anything. We must be able to speak and work together. You cannot do anything if you don't communicate and tell each other what you're going to do. The mayor and the city council must work together. The mayor has a voice. The city council has a vote. In order for this city to move forward, we all must work together in order to bring this city to the 21st century.
Thank you. Our 4th question. We'll start with Mr. Blue first. What will you do to reduce the high legal fees generated by City Hall? What will you do to reduce the high legal fees generated by City Hall?
Well, the first thing I would do is find out why it is we're paying so much in legal fees. If there are comparable law firms that exist in the city, and I know that they are, this goes back to one of the first things that you talked about. Let's go local first. Let's start looking at some of these local agencies. I've talked to some of the attorneys downtown who would be more than happy to participate in city government. I've talked to a lot of attorneys around this area that grew up right here in Bessemer and would like to be back in Bessemer. So let's shop around. Let's see where we're wasting money. Let's find out why it is that we need so much legal representation. And if there is a way to skirt or curtail having all of those legal fees, then by all means, let's do it. Just because a problem arises does not mean the first thing you need to do is go out and seek an attorney. There's mediation that's available. There's arbitration that's available. Again, let's start looking at alternative methods of settling disputes, whatever they may be, and then perhaps we can start to make a dent in all the money that we've been spending out. I've heard incredible estimates in terms of how much we've been expending for legal fees. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. But again, the only way to curtail that is if you shop around, you look locally, and you look for individuals that are willing to work with the city. Thank you.
Mr. May, I'll restate it. What will you do to reduce the high legal fees generated by City Hall?
Well, Ron, first of all, we have done just that over the last 7, almost 8 years. Prior to this administration starting, the legal fees were more than double what they are now. I think that I'm very qualified to address this question, having practiced law for 30 years in this local area. Legal fees are generated by issues that are caused someone to have to address it. That is, if the city is sued, then the city has to pay legal fees. And you get what you pay for. I will concur with Mr. Blue again. There are lawyers around this city and in this area who will work for less than our current city attorneys. And by the way, generally you will find city attorneys working on an hourly rate. In Bessemer, they have a flat rate, and again, that's less than half of what it was 8 years ago. In order to reduce legal fees, you again must educate the employees to the point where they don't do things that will cause legal issues. And I see I have a little more time left, and I want to address something here also that didn't. The budget is a proposal, as Councilor Alexander said. The mayor has a voice, the council has the vote. Councilor Davis, I'm sorry, thank you, Doc. The mayor can only submit a proposed budget. That is what he is proposing to the council. The council decides if and when it's going to meet and whether or not it's going to adopt that budget that the mayor has submitted. So here again, I just wanted to correct something so that people would know, and again, that falls under education. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's make sure we address the question. Okay, Mr. Gully, what will you do to reduce the high legal fees generated by City Hall?
First of all, let's take a look at since the inception of Bessemer, we only had one attorney, which was a city attorney, not a mayor, not a mayor's attorney, not a council attorney, not a bingo attorney, but a city attorney. First and foremost, what we will need to do is eliminate two of those expenses and go back with a city attorney. That would be a city attorney that will not be partial to the mayor, that will not be partial to the council, that will deal with the letter of the law. I looked at a last expenditure of $61,000 in 1 month for just legal fees. When we talk about revenue, we have to look at the fact that we may have revenue. Our revenue is going to many legal fees and many other things that it should not be going to. I think it's totally unnecessary to have 3 attorneys, but I understand why. Because we must communicate and we must work together. And if I don't trust the opinion of the city attorney, then I understand why I'll have to have one of my own. But it's an unnecessary expenditure. And it's an expenditure that has not been necessary since the inception of the city of Bessemer.
Thank you. Mr. Ballard, what will you do to reduce the high legal fees generated by City Hall?
Well, the first thing immediately when taking office, there will be a large majority of the attorneys that are enjoying providing a service for us. We'll no longer retain those services. And I come to some of the council meetings, and I was a witness to the evidence that's already been stated that the mayor has an attorney, the city council has an attorney, and everybody's receiving checks, and we're still in litigation 6 months down the road for an item that could have been settled within a matter of a week. And in litigation, when we're all talking about it, the only one that benefits is the attorneys. And when you've got 2 different attorneys that's supposed to be on the same team, representing the city council and the mayor, that's like having a quarterback with one playbook and the running back with his own playbook. You can't win with that strategy. So I do agree solely, except with the opinion that our city attorney, it's not his opinion he's expressing, it's his expertise. And if you're going to pay an individual to give you expert advice, that's like going to the doctor and telling him he don't know what he's talking about. Why are you wasting your money paying a city attorney and you're not going to respect and then follow the view that he gives you that's best for this city? And so that's the one thing I'll do is I'll eliminate 95% of not just thousands of dollars, it's millions of dollars that's been spent on outside attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you.